While returning to your family's old ranch for a quiet weekend, you're shocked to find a group of self-appointed HOA enforcers standing at the gate in fake uniforms, fake badges, and a self-made rulebook. They claim the entire ranch and several nearby properties are now under the jurisdiction of their newly formed HOA, even though the ranch is privately owned and miles from any residential community. When you try to enter, they physically block the road, demand you pay access fees, and threaten to confiscate your vehicle if you don't comply. What they don't know, you have the original land titles, surveillance footage of their earlier trespassing, and a friend in the real sheriff's department who's been tracking reports of impersonators. When the fake HOA attempts to detain you on your own land, the real police arrive, and everything falls apart for them. Use this prompt for a dramatic, entitled people HOA gone mad style story. I went to inspect my late grandpa's cabin. A group of environmental rangers surrounded me, claimed the forest was closed, and tried to seize the property. You drive up to your grandfather's remote mountain cabin to begin restoring it. When you arrive, a group of people in mismatched green uniforms steps out of the trees and surrounds your truck. They claim they're environmental rangers, that the forest is under emergency ecological lockdown, and that all private land inside the region now falls under conservation seizure. You quickly realize their badges are printed on laminated cards, their citation forms are just photocopies, and their vehicles don't even have license plates. But when you try entering the cabin, they threaten to impound your property, demand a nature restoration fee, and attempt to escort you off the land. What they don't know, your grandfather worked with real estate, environmental services, and you still have his access codes, documents, and direct contacts. When the actual wildlife department arrives and identifies the group as imposters running a land grab scheme, everything escalates fast and their fake operation collapses. I returned to my lake house, a group of strangers, set up a dock association, took over my pier, and tried charging me to use my own boat ramp. After months away, you return to your peaceful lake house expecting quiet. Instead, you find a group of unfamiliar neighbors sitting in lawn chairs on your private dock, wearing matching t-shirts that say Lakeshore Association. Security, they've installed a homemade gate across your pier, put up printed signs declaring members only, and even placed a lock on your boat ramp. When you confront them, they insist that the entire shoreline has been absorbed into their new dock association, and everyone must pay monthly fees, even if they own the property. They hand you a clipboard demanding signatures, fees, and permit applications for your own land. When you refuse, they radio someone and 4 more people show up, claiming they have authority to reassign usage rights and suspend violators. What they don't know, the lake house has been in your family for 4 generations. The deeds explicitly include full waterfront rights, and the county has no record of any such association. When a real Marine Patrol officer, an old friend of your father, stops by for a routine sweep, you show him everything, and the entire fake group scheme unravels in seconds. I checked on my inherited farm, a rogue security patrol built a gate across my driveway and claimed they'd been contracted to manage the entire area. You arrive at the quiet farmland you inherited from your aunt, land your family has owned for nearly a century, only to find a steel gate blocking the entrance. A group of men in tactical-style vests step out of a pickup truck marked with magnetic stickers that read Rural Safety Patrol. They demand to see your farm access permit. Confused, you tell them you own the property. They immediately challenge you, insisting they've been contracted by surrounding residents to stabilize the area, and therefore all land, including yours, is under their supervision. They accuse you of trespassing, claim they're authorized to control all agricultural operations, and say they can fine you for unauthorized entry. But something is off. Their badges don't match. Their paperwork looks home-printed, and their radios are just walkie-talkies from a discount store. When you take out the original property documents and try to move the gate yourself, they block your truck and threaten to call their enforcement team. What they don't know, your aunt worked directly with the state agriculture board and the man who currently heads the department was her close friend. When he arrives with real state investigators and the county sheriff, the fake patrol's entire operation and the people funding, it gets exposed in one explosive confrontation. I went to clean. My late father's cabin had a fake. Mountain HOA told me I owed them $14,000 and tried to lock me inside. You drive deep into the mountains to clean out your late father's old hunting cabin, his favorite place, left exactly the way he used it. But when you arrive, you find a bright orange sticker slapped across the door. Notice of violation, Mountain Community HOA. The problem? There has never been an HOA in this area. Before you can even peel the sticker off, 3 people on ATVs pull up wearing matching windbreakers. They claim they manage all mountain properties now and say your father owed $14,000 in environmental fees. When you laugh and tell them no HOA exists here, they change tone, fast, saying you must pay before entering, and one of them even tries to place a lock on your cabin door. Then things turn strange. They start asking about firearms, old documents, and whether your father kept a safe on the property, like they're searching for something he left behind. When you refuse to leave, they radio for backup, trying to intimidate you with their pretend authority. What they don't know, your father was working with the state to expose illegal land grabs in the area. And he left you more than memories, he left you the evidence. When real state rangers and federal land officers show up, the fake HOA's scheme unravels in a single explosive raid that shakes the entire county. I returned to my grandma's beach house, a fake coastal. HOA put guards on the porch and said I needed their permission to step inside. You drive to the old beach, house your grandma left you, the one your family has owned for 60-plus years. But when you pull up, the first thing you see is a huge wooden sign hammered into the sand. Property under coastal HOA management. Access restricted. 2 men in matching polos sit on your porch like they own the place. One is holding a clipboard. The other has a taser on his belt. They stand up the moment they see you and demand to know why you're approaching HOA-controlled property. You tell them it's your grandma's house. They smirk and say, "Not anymore. This beach is under our authority now." They claim you owe shoreline usage fees, structure compliance fees, and even an entry evaluation fee. They try to block the door and warn you that entering could lead to legal consequences. But something feels off. Their badges look laminated at home. Their paperwork has spelling mistakes. And when you ask who hired them, they get defensive and change the subject. What they don't know, your grandma was part of a coastal conservation board, and she kept every permit, map, and ownership document neatly archived in the attic. She even had letters from the state confirming that no HOA can ever exist on that stretch of beach. You make one call. Minutes later, real coastal enforcement officers and a state attorney arrive. The fake HOA tries to run, but the officers trap them on the sand. What follows is a wild takedown that exposes a massive scam targeting elderly homeowners. And your grandma's house becomes the key to shutting them down. HOA Karen tried to tow my truck. During a storm, she didn't know I was rescuing her husband from the flood. You're driving your old pickup through a brutal storm, checking on neighbors and clearing fallen branches. Suddenly you see HOA Karen standing in the rain with a flashlight aimed at your license plate. She's yelling into her phone, screaming that your truck is an eyesore, and she's calling a tow company right now. You tell her you're just trying to help the neighborhood during the storm. She snaps back. Your help is not needed. Your truck breaks HOA rules. I bought an old warehouse for my small business. HOA Karen broke in and said it was now community property. You unlock the warehouse you've been fixing up for months. It's finally ready. New floors, new lights, everything clean. This place is your dream, your small business starting point. But when you walk inside, the lights are already on. A woman in a bright floral jacket is standing in the middle of your warehouse, clipboard in hand, acting like she owns the place. She doesn't even look surprised to see you. She just smiles and says, "Oh, good, you're here. I'm from the Riverbend HOA. This building is now community property. Here is a strong, satisfying ending you can use for any of the HOA fake authority stories you were building, emotional, powerful, and clean." When everything finally settled, The officers walked Karen to the patrol car as she kept insisting she did nothing. Wrong, but nobody believed her anymore. The neighbors who once stayed quiet now stepped outside, watching the woman who tried to control. Everyone lose every bit of fake power she built. I stood there, tired but steady, looking at the place that was mine, the place she tried so hard to take. One officer came over, shook his head, and said, "People like her think rules don't apply to them." But today, she learned, I didn't feel angry anymore, just relieved. My land was safe. My family was safe. And the truth finally came out. As the patrol car pulled away, I stepped back onto my property with a quiet breath and whispered to myself the one line that always hits deep. You don't mess with someone's home. Not in this country. Not ever. And with that, the story ended. Justice served. Peace restored. And the world reminded that real ownership, real bravery, and real freedom will always win in the end.